InnerWhisper channel.
Reincarnation and karma. Why everything comes back. There are moments in life when you feel an invisible thread connecting one experience to another, as if the story you're living now has roots deeper than this single lifetime. You meet someone and feel you've known them before. You visit a place and feel déjà vu, an echo from somewhere beyond memory. These are the quiet whispers that make people wonder, is life truly a single line, or part of a vast circle, a cycle of learning, returning, and growing? The idea of reincarnation, that our consciousness continues beyond this body, is not meant to be a fantasy, but an invitation to humility and wonder. If this isn't your first time here, if you've walked this earth before, then every moment you face now carries purpose. You're not just wandering, you're evolving. Karma, in its truest sense, isn't punishment or reward. It's cause and effect, the simple law that energy creates results. Every thought, every action, every word ripples through time. What you give to life, life returns to you not out of judgment, but out of balance. When you plant seeds of kindness, peace grows in your path. When you plant seeds of anger, turmoil meets you again and again until you learn the lesson behind it. Karma is not fate, it's education. It's life patiently teaching you what love really means. Many people hear the word karma and immediately think of bad luck or cosmic revenge. But karma doesn't hate you. It guides you. It mirrors you. It gives you opportunities again and again to choose differently. When you respond with compassion instead of rage, forgiveness instead of resentment, you rewrite your energy. You set a new direction. You don't need to wait for the next life to see the result. Transformation begins now. Think about how many times we repeat the same emotional patterns, the same arguments, the same heartbreaks, the same mistakes until something inside finally shifts. That's karma at work, not as punishment, but as a mirror showing you the loop you're stuck in. Reincarnation operates on that same principle, but on a grander scale. The soul keeps returning to the classroom of life until the lessons of love, humility, and compassion are learned deeply enough to move forward. In this view, life isn't a straight road from birth to death, it's a spiral, each turn bringing you closer to understanding. Sometimes you face joy, sometimes suffering, but both are necessary teachers. Pain doesn't mean failure. It means growth. It means you're learning something the soul couldn't grasp before. Every challenge you meet is like a karmic key, unlocking a deeper strength within you. This is why judging others makes so little sense. You can't truly know where someone's soul has been, what they've carried, what they're healing, what old pain they're working through. Perhaps the person who wronged you is paying a debt from long ago, or maybe they're giving you a lesson you once asked life to teach. Compassion becomes easier when you see others as travelers, not enemies. Reincarnation teaches patience. Karma teaches responsibility. Together, they form a philosophy of hope because they remind us that no moment is wasted. Even your mistakes are part of a larger pattern, a journey designed not to punish you, but to wake you up. You're not trapped in the past. You're being shaped by it. And as you understand that, forgiveness becomes freedom both for others and for yourself. Sometimes we fear the idea of rebirth because it means the work never ends, that we'll have to come back again and again until we get it right. But what if that's a gift? What if the universe is so merciful that it gives us infinite chances to grow, to love better, to live more consciously? What if no one is ever truly lost, only still learning? When you begin to see life through that lens, suffering takes on a new meaning. You stop asking, "Why me?" and start asking, "What is this trying to teach me?" Every hardship becomes a lesson in disguise. Every joy, a reminder of what your heart is capable of feeling. Every encounter, whether for a season or a lifetime, becomes part of your soul's unfolding. And that's the quiet beauty of karma and reincarnation. They turn life into a masterpiece of meaning. Nothing is random. Nothing is wasted. Every soul you meet, every challenge you face, every love you lose, it's all guiding you home to yourself. When we talk about karma and reincarnation, it's easy to think in grand cosmic terms: lifetimes, destiny, spiritual contracts. But the truth is, the wheel of karma turns every single day. Reincarnation is not only about being born again in another bodies. It's about being reborn every morning you wake up with a chance to start over. Every time you choose kindness instead of bitterness, you break an old cycle. Every time you choose forgiveness over anger, you dissolve a layer of suffering. You don't have to wait for another life to be free. You can be reborn right now, in this very breath. Most of us carry emotional karma long before we ever think about spiritual ones. The resentment toward a parent, the guilt of something left unsaid, the fear of not being enough. These emotions repeat across generations because we never stop to see their roots. But when you look closely, you realize that pain doesn't stay just because it wants to. It stays because it hasn't been understood yet. Karma is not about punishment. It's about understanding. When you bring awareness to your suffering, you start to break the chain. Think about someone who hurt you deeply. Maybe their words or actions created scars that lasted years. It's easy to hold that pain and call it justice, to believe they deserve your anger. But in truth, holding on to that anger is like carrying fire in your own hands. Karma doesn't ask you to forget. It asks you to understand. Maybe that person's cruelty was born from their own suffering, their own unhealed past. Maybe your lesson wasn't about revenge, but about compassion, learning how to see beyond the wound. When you forgive, you don't erase the past. You free yourself from it. Reincarnation isn't only about souls returning through time. It's about the constant rebirth of consciousness through experience. Each lifetime, each year, each day brings a chance to live with a little more clarity. The person you were yesterday is gone. The person you are now carries both wisdom and wounds. The future is being shaped not by fate, but by the choices you make in this present moment. That's how karma flows through awareness. In every tradition, you'll find the same truth in different words. What you think, you become. What you give, you receive. Karma doesn't chase you like a shadow. It follows the shape of your mind. If you think the world is hostile, you'll see hostility everywhere. If you think the world is kind, opportunities and warmth will start to appear. The external world reflects your internal landscape. Change your thoughts, and you begin to rewrite your karma. But awareness alone isn't enough. Compassion is the force that transforms karma. Awareness shows you where the wounds are. Compassion helps you heal them. Without compassion, awareness can turn cold or self-critical. Many people see their past mistakes and feel shame, but shame doesn't heal, love does. When you forgive yourself for what you didn't know before, when you allow yourself to grow instead of shrink, you stop creating new karma out of guilt. You begin to live from wisdom instead of fear. We live in a world that loves to divide good versus bad, success versus failure, heaven versus hell. But karma doesn't operate in opposites. It works in balance. Every act of cruelty can be undone by compassion. Every mistake can lead to insight. Every loss can awaken gratitude. Life doesn't demand perfection. It asks for awareness. It asks you to see your patterns and choose differently. That's the quiet revolution karma brings. It doesn't need grand gestures, just gentle awakening. Some people fear reincarnation because they think it traps them in endless suffering. But what if reincarnation is the soul's deepest mercy, a chance to rewrite old stories, to meet old faces with new understanding, to finish the love we once left incomplete? When you see life as a continuum, the edges of fear soften. Death loses its sting, and life gains its depth. You begin to live not with anxiety, but with reverence, knowing that every moment echoes beyond time. There's a saying in Buddhism, when you truly see karma, you laugh because you realize how long you've been running in circles, chasing desires, fighting illusions, repeating the same lessons, and suddenly, it all makes sense. The pain, the joy, the loss, the love, all were necessary to wake you up. You don't laugh because life is trivial. You laugh because you finally see its beauty. And maybe that's what liberation really means, not escaping the cycle, but dancing within it with awareness. You no longer resist the flow of karma. You learn from it. You stop asking, why me, and start asking, what is this teaching me in that moment? The wheel still turns, but you're no longer bound to it. You move with grace, not with struggle. You stop being a victim of your past and become a creator of your destiny. When you live this way, every act becomes sacred. Washing dishes, driving to work, holding someone's hand, everything becomes an offering, a ripple of energy you send into the world. You start to live with the awareness that everything matters. The tone of your voice, the way you look at a stranger, the words you speak, all of it creates karma. You become careful not out of fear, but out of love. You begin to see that your smallest gestures are powerful seeds shaping the garden of your soul. The deeper you go into this understanding, the lighter life becomes. You stop clinging to control because you realize everything has its rhythm. You trust that what leaves you is meant to teach you, and what stays is meant to grow you. Karma stops feeling like a weight and starts feeling like guidance. You start living not for outcomes, but for alignment. You stop chasing and begin flowing. That's the peace karma brings when it's understood, the peace that comes from knowing that you're exactly where you need to be, learning exactly what you need to learn. Freedom from karma and the cycle of rebirth doesn't mean escaping life. It means embracing it so fully that resistance disappears. Most of us fight life every day. We resist pain. We chase pleasure. We cling to things that are already fading. That resistance is what binds us to the wheel. But when you begin to live with awareness and compassion, something incredible happens. You stop fighting reality. You stop demanding that life be different, and you start dancing with it as it is. That's when the chain of karma begins to dissolve. The true liberation is not found in another world, but in this very moment, in your breath, your awareness, your ability to love despite everything. Every time you act with love instead of fear, you take a step out of the old cycle. Every time you forgive instead of retaliate, you loosen another thread of attachment. Slowly, the weight of the past begins to fall away. The soul becomes lighter, freer, more awake. Reincarnation teaches us that life is not a single story. It's a long poem written across centuries, each lifetime adding a verse. Some verses are filled with laughter, others with tears, but all belong to the same song of awakening. The more conscious you become, the more your verses begin to rhyme with compassion. You stop writing out of pain and start writing out of wisdom. The story doesn't end, it transforms. Many people ask, if karma is real, how can I change it? The answer is simpler than you think. By changing your awareness in this moment. Karma is like a river. It flows in the direction of your focus. If you feed anger, the river becomes turbulent. If you feed love, it becomes calm and clear. You don't need to fight the river. You need to steer it with mindfulness. You can't rewrite the past, but you can change how it moves through you. You can bless your wounds instead of cursing them. You can use your pain as a compass instead of a cage. This is how transformation begins, not by denying the past, but by giving it new meaning. Maybe the heartbreak wasn't there to punish you, but to open your heart wider. Maybe the loss you suffered wasn't about taking something away, but about teaching you what truly matters. Maybe the person who hurt you was a mirror, showing you a part of yourself that was still waiting to be healed. When you start to see life this way, even your deepest scars become sacred. They stop being reminders of pain and become reminders of growth. The soul's journey is not about perfection. It's about expansion, learning, unlearning, and relearning until love becomes your natural state. And love, when it's pure, doesn't depend on who deserves it. It flows freely, like sunlight. It touches everything and transforms everything. That's the ultimate freedom to love without conditions, without expectations, without fear of loss. When love becomes your way of being, karma can no longer bind you, because you no longer act from ego, you act from truth. The Buddha once said, "Hatred never ceases by hatred, but by love alone is healed." That's not just a spiritual quote, it's a law of life. The moment you respond to darkness with light, the pattern breaks. When someone insults you and you respond with calm, the cycle ends there. When someone betrays you and you still wish them peace, karma transforms. Every small act of love changes the shape of eternity. You may not see the results immediately, but the universe always balances itself in time. Nothing good is ever lost. In this way, karma is not something to fear, it's something to trust. It's life's way of ensuring that everything finds its rightful place. Every injustice will find resolution. Every wound will find healing. Every effort made with pure heart will eventually bear fruit. Sometimes not in this lifetime, sometimes not in the way we expect, but always in perfect timing. When you understand this, patience becomes easier. You stop rushing, comparing, or doubting. You know that your task is not to control outcomes, but to keep planting seeds of love. And that's the true purpose of this human journey, not to escape the cycle, but to turn it into a path of light. To live in such a way that your presence becomes healing to others. To forgive when it's hard. To give when it's inconvenient. To love when it's risky. That's how you break the wheel, not by leaving the world, but by transforming the way you move through it. You don't need a temple or a robe to live with sacredness. You just need awareness and an open heart. Imagine a world where everyone understood karma not as punishment, but as connection. Where every person saw their actions as ripples shaping the collective ocean of humanity. Where compassion guided decisions instead of greed. That world wouldn't just be peaceful, it would be radiant. And that world begins with you. Every smile you give, every gentle word you speak, every time you choose empathy over judgment, it matters. You might never know how far that ripple travels, but it does. Energy never dies. It transforms. So today, take a breath and remind yourself, you are not the sum of your past mistakes. You are the awareness learning from them. You are not trapped in fate. You are crafting your destiny with every thought, every choice, every act of kindness. Your soul is ancient, wise, and endlessly capable of renewal. You are both the student and the teacher, the seeker and the path. The wheel of life is not your prison, it's your classroom. And through love, you graduate. And when your time comes to leave this body, don't be afraid. You've done this before. Death is not an ending, it's just another doorway, another sunrise for the soul. The lessons you've learned, the love you've shared, the compassion you've grown, all of it travels with you. Every lifetime is a step closer to remembering who you truly are. A spark of divine consciousness, limitless and free. So as you move through this life, live with mindfulness, with compassion, and with courage, let go of bitterness and open your heart wide. Trust that no act of goodness is ever wasted. The universe remembers. The soul evolves. And love always returns to its source. Thank you for spending this time with me, for choosing to reflect, to grow, to awaken. If this message touched your heart, I'd be grateful if you'd share it with someone who might need it. Leave a comment, let me know your thoughts, and subscribe to the channel so we can continue this journey together. Every interaction, every word, every connection, it keeps this light alive. Together, let's make compassion a way of life. Thank you, and may your path be filled with peace, understanding, and boundless love.